right. Well, thanks for coming out today, this afternoon on this beautiful Friday. Appreciate everybody taking the time. It's an exciting time of year for Public Works. This is the start of street construction season for us. We're officially kicking off our street construction season this Monday with the start of our 26th Street and Southeastern Avenue and Exit 5 construction project. With me today, I've got Dina Knutson, our city project manager, and Travis Dressen with South Dakota Department of Transportation, the area engineer, and Greg Branow with D&G Concrete Construction. Going to invite them up later on to give a little bit of information about the project in a little more detail. This is a joint project with the City of Sioux Falls and the Department of Transportation. It's a $37 million project, and when it's completed, it's going to have some significant improvements to this critical east-west corridor here in Sioux Falls. Some of the major improvements we're going to be completing here with this project include the widening of 26th Street, and also with expansion in the Southeastern Avenue intersection. We'll be working on the Exit 5 ramps there for I-229 and making some realignments and some expansion there. And then also on 26th Street, we're going to be raising the road at Southeastern Avenue about 27 feet in the air and building a new overpass over the BNSF Railroad to get rid of that at-grade crossing and delays that a lot of commuters run into when the trains are coming through town. Combined, all these improvements are going to have a real big impact and greatly improve the traffic flow in this area. The first phase, which is starting Monday, we'll be working on 26th Street. We'll be reducing it to one lane in each direction. During this first phase, we're not closing Southeastern Avenue or Yeager Road or any of the interchange ramps, but this is a 2-year project, and coming up, as we evolve through the project, we are going to have some additional closures. So, please stay informed with the project. We'll be making announcements as those things come up. Over the course of this project, traffic capacity is going to be restricted in this area. We're going down to one lane in each direction, and so there will be delays. We encourage drivers to look for alternate routes during construction. Some of the suggested routes we have are 12th Street and 57th Street to go east to west, and also using Sycamore and Cliff Avenue to get around. Along these routes and other of these east side streets, our traffic team is going to be monitoring those during the construction project to look at how traffic is flowing, and we will be modifying the timings on any signals that we can to help to improve that traffic flow as much as we can. But do recognize there's a lot of traffic that is going to be finding alternate routes, so there are going to be delays. And we're just going to try and minimize it the best we can. As I said, we have almost 28,000 drivers that use 26th Street on a daily basis. That's a lot of traffic that's going to be finding alternate routes. So we do ask for people's patience. These east side streets are just going to be congested for the next couple years, and patience. Planning ahead is going to save a lot of frustration. There are some ways the public can help. We do have some suggestions. One thing we encourage people is to work with your employer to see if you can adjust your work schedule. So maybe you can leave a little earlier in the day or a little later in the day to try and avoid those really peak times of traffic. Some other things, we really encourage people to try carpooling. We've got a fantastic bike trail system in Sioux Falls. If you can bike to work, that's another way to get some vehicles off the road. And also Sioux Area Metro still serves, is going to be serving the east side of town. Encourage you to look at our public transportation. So anything we can do to minimize the vehicles on the roadway is gonna help. So now I'm gonna turn it over to Dina Knutson, and she's our project manager with the City of Sioux Falls, and she's gonna give a few more details on the city's portion of the project.
As Josh was saying, 26th Street will be down to 2 lanes starting on Monday morning. Exit 5, Southeastern Avenue and Yeager Road will still remain open for the time being, but they will be closing in the near future, just not next week. No left turns will be allowed off of northbound I-229, ramp from 26th Street. Northbound I-229 access will have to be taken at 10th Street or Cliff Avenue. No left turns will be allowed onto 26th Street from northbound I-229 ramp exit. Only right turns only. The work that you'll be seeing next week, traffic control will start to be set up. Bridge demolition will begin next week. Sawing and removals of the existing roadway. They'll also start hauling in dirt for the abutment ends and some widening of 26th Street. So please be cautious of trucks, movements, turning and around. Just be cautious of the construction activity. Once the parks, Rotary Park is our nearest park. So once the park is open for the season, access to the old or the east side, you can't drive into it. That access will be closed. You will be able to access it from the new pedestrian bridge that was built last summer. So you'll have to go from the west side. But there again, no left turns will be allowed into Rotary Park. You'll have to have a right turn to get in. The bike trail too will remain open as it is in place today for a while. In the next few weeks, we'll be placing a large box culvert. So you'll be able to use the bike trail through the box culvert. But I do exercise caution with you. It is through a construction site, so there'll be extra construction activity around, so please use caution. Within the next several weeks, Burlington Northern is requesting that we close 26th Street for 2 days to allow them to install their crossing arms on their railroad track. More information will come out for that, more specifics, but it's just kind of a peek. There again, I guess driving through the construction zone, there's going to be a lot of activity with the construction itself and the driving public. Just please use caution, drive slow, and it'll be a great project. Next, we'll have Travis talk a little bit more about the DOT side.
Good afternoon. So this week did mark the kickoff of the Exit 5 reconstruction along with the 26th Street reconstruction through the Southeastern Avenue intersection. This really is the culmination of a lot of planning and preliminary engineering work that took place back since 2012. With this, it is a joint project between the South Dakota Department of Transportation and the City of Sioux Falls, and I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize project staff, both from the DOT and from the city, to bring this project together and as we carry it through to construction in the next 2 years. This relationship will be important. We have a lot of interchanges around the city of Sioux Falls. We'll also be making improvements in the future at I-29 and 41st Street, and also the service interchanges on I-229 at Benson Road, Minnesota Avenue, and Cliff Avenue. So we have more projects of these types to come along. So the work on I-229 itself, we'll be constructing a new bridge on the south side of the existing structure. Traffic itself will be reduced to 1 lane at times on 229, and we expect congestion on 229. Towards the first part of May, we'll be closing the northbound on-ramp to 229, and that will remain closed through construction of the first year, through a portion of the first year. Towards the middle part of June, we'll be closing the ramps on the west side of the interchange, so no access will be onto the interstate from 26th Street. During construction, we also have a series of overnight closures. We have 16 days set up in our contract to close 229 between the hours of 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. For various overhead structure work at the Exit 5 bridge. During that time, traffic will be detoured to the 10th Street interchange to the north and the Cliff Avenue interchange to the south. Those won't be consecutive nights. We expect some of them will be, depending on the type of work. The project itself will be mainly the reconstruction of the bridge on the south side of the interchange ramps. We'll also be placing a high friction surface treatment on I-229 between Cliff Avenue and 26th Street. This will be very similar to the surface treatment on 229 to the north of here at 18th Street. It's been shown to be a very effective method of reducing runoff the road crashes, especially during wet weather and winter conditions. Starting the first week of April, we'll be installing intelligent work zone technology on this project on I-229. That system is called the queue detection system. So there will be sensors along I-229 between Western Avenue and 10th Street. Those sensors will be continually monitoring traffic speeds. They'll be detecting stopped or slowed traffic on the interstate. Those messages will get relayed to message boards on the interstate to give drivers real-time information about what kind of traffic conditions they can expect as they approach the work zone. Along with that, we also have digital regulatory speed limit signs tied to that system. As traffic begins to slow, speed limits will be reduced, so traffic isn't coming up on a work zone at high speeds, therefore reducing the potential for high-speed crashes on the interstate. As a reminder, these are regulatory speed limits, so they are enforceable speed limits, so please be conscious of that. It's a couple tips for drivers. If you have the ability, as Josh said, to be able to leave your home or work a little bit early or a little bit later than usual, that may help. Also, please be patient. This is going to be it's going to be tough from a traffic standpoint for the next 2 years, but the improvements that are being made over the course of the next 2 years will serve drivers for decades to come.
Greg Breno, D&G Concrete. We're the prime contractor on the project. Keep in mind that the two key words that we've talked about, these first three people have talked about, are caution and patience. When you're trying to put 28,000 or fewer cars, even if some people find an alternate route through 2 lanes, head-to-head traffic, it's going to be slow. And we've got 22 contractors on this job. We've got 22 subcontractors and our crews that are going to be out there working. We all have to share that same head-to-head traffic to get from one side of the river to the other, so you're going to see a lot of construction traffic out in driving traffic during certain times of the day. Hopefully we can minimize that by doing our crossings at night and early in the morning before the traffic comes out there. But it's going to be a slow go. Caution, patience is going to be key, and obviously the traffic safety, but more than that, our own workers' safety. We're going to be out and working right next to traffic. I mean, we're within 1 foot or 2 feet sometimes of traffic. So you keep in mind that those workers all want to go home at night and see their families, no different than you do when you're driving a car. Dina talked about our schedule for next week, depending, of course, on the floods, but we plan on switching everything on Monday. So there'll be head-to-head traffic from Yeager Road to Southeastern. Southeastern stays open. Yeager Road stays open. The on and off ramps northbound will stay open. The only limits are going to be that you're going to be head-to-head on the north side of the road. And obviously when you're head-to-head, we're going to be at 2 less lanes of traffic, so we're going to try and put everybody into 2 lanes. There's going to be a lot of work on the bridge going on in the next 2 weeks. I advise the traveling public not to gawk when you're in traffic. Don't be looking at what's going on with the workers over there tearing down that bridge, because the car in front of you is going to stop and you're going to run into the back of it. So hopefully you can keep your mind on driving, keep focused when you're going through the construction site. Like I said, I don't want any of my workers, and I don't want you to get hurt either. And certainly it's going to be a long 2 years for traffic, but at the end of the day, I think this project is one of the most exciting projects I've ever been involved in Sioux Falls. I really look forward to it. I think they've done great planning. I think the engineers that designed this thing have done a great job. It's going to be a challenge to get it done in 2 years, but hopefully the weather's good this year compared to last year, and hopefully we get going full speed here now that the weather's kind of straightened out and the snow's gone and the frost is coming out of the ground, and we're removing trees, and we're making headway this week, and next week it really gets going fast. So you're going to see a lot of activity next week, and drive safe, remember caution, and remember patience. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg, and everybody. Like Greg said, this is a really exciting project for us, and it's a really big project. We really want everybody to keep informed about what's going on there, and the easiest way to do that is to go to the city's website, siouxfalls.org. We've got a project webpage for this project dedicated to provide updates to the public. Just go to our website and go through the construction projects link, and it'll take you right there. And on that webpage, we'll be keeping our regular updates, but you can also sign up for regular updates on that website as well. You enter your email address, and you can get bi-weekly updates on the project delivered right to you. So it's a great feature we have, and hopefully it helps keep people informed. We also want feedback from the public. If they're seeing things that aren't working right, potholes, traffic signals, whatever that might be a challenge for drivers on this east side. A couple ways you can provide some feedback to us. On that project webpage, we've got all of the project team contact information posted out there, so you can call or email them to let them know what's going on out there. And one of the other things is that you can use to provide updates on not just this project, but the city in general, is our new web application, or the mobile app, the City of Sioux Falls C-Click Fix app. It's a great tool to provide information on this project or anything else that you want to give some feedback to the city.